This is Burn This Book, a banned books book club where we, Eden... Let me start over. Woo! Okay. This is Burn This Book, a banned books book club where we, Nicole and Eden, read a banned or challenged book twice a month and discuss its meaning, impact, and censorship to make it more accessible for all readers. This week's book is literally all of the books by Shel Silverstein, but we're going to focus on A Light in the Attic, which was published in 1981.
Awesome.
Is that an accurate?
Yeah. That's accurate. That's accurate.
Okay, cool.
Before we get really into the book, though, we have received an ad, and it's not paid or anything like that, but we are just trying to help promote an anthology of banned literature. So please listen up, and if you are interested, submit, email us if you have questions, and we'll point you into the right direction. Okay, enjoy the ad.
Calling all authors. Unleash your creativity and join Wild Ink Publishing's literary movement. We are seeking poetry, personal essays, and short stories for Uncensored Ink, a banned book-inspired anthology. This is your chance to illuminate the shadows of censorship, challenge the norms, and be a part of a collection that celebrates the power of expression. Submissions open in October during Banned Book Month. For more information, visit www.wild-ink-publishing.com. Thank you for joining us in our fight for intellectual freedom.
Let's start talking Shel Silverstein. So, for those who don't know who Shel Silverstein is, he's the poet of our generation, apparently, and all the generations of pre-us. He was a really big deal since 1964. Mm-hmm. He wrote The Giving Tree, Light in the Attic, The Missing Piece Falling Up, Everything on It, Where the Sidewalk Ends. There's a lot there, which are just a series. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's also a recipient of 2 Grammy Awards and nominated at the Golden Globe and Academy Awards.
Whoa, what are his Grammys for?
He wrote a ton for a lot of people, including Johnny Cash.
Yeah, he wrote A Boy Named Sue. I know that. I don't know of any of the other songs he wrote.
He wrote a lot of stuff for... I don't know a lot of these artists. Tom Paul Glaser, The Irish Rovers, and Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show.
Yeah, he wrote most of the stuff for Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. That's so weird. He also wrote 2 hits for Loretta Lynn, which is also bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, what a fascinating human being. He was from Chicago, Illinois, and he served in the Army. And he seemed like if you read his stuff, you're like, oh, what a whimsical person. Mm-hmm. He doesn't actually seem, the more you get into it, he doesn't seem like a whimsical person. He seems like a pretty intense dude who doesn't actually like children. Am I wrong?
Do you get that vibe?
I don't know. I get that vibe.
I didn't get that vibe.
Just okay, what vibe did you get?
I got the vibe that he's like a pretty whimsical person who is also kind of intense. He's no like Maurice Sendak to me.
Yeah.
Like Maurice Sendak, I put on the far end of the I hate everyone spectrum, you know. Well, I guess him and like Miyazaki are kind of like the similar personality to me, where they create these beautiful pieces of children's media, but they absolutely have the worst and most negative and pessimistic outlook on the world. Whereas I feel like Shel Silverstein is not that. Like he seems more whimsical in his approach to life. It could be because he just like drew cartoons. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is because of his cartoons. They just seemed more whimsical. There isn't really anything dark in it. Like if you compare Maurice Sendak's work to Shel Silverstein's poems are so funny and so wacky. And
that's true. That's really true. I just found a quote that I think you'll like, Eden. Maybe you've seen this quote. It's on the Wikipedia page, so I didn't look far. But he told Publishers Weekly I would hope that people, no matter what age, would find something to identify with in my books. Pick up one and experience a personal sense of discovery. That's great. I think that if you're a creative person, you should just go about your business, do your work, and not care about how it's received. I never read reviews because if you believe the good ones, you have to believe the bad ones too. Not that I don't care about success, I do, but only because it lets me do what I want. I was always prepared for success, but that means that I have to be prepared for failure too. I have an ego, I have ideas, I want to be articulate, to communicate, but in my own way. People who say they create only for themselves and don't care if they're published, I hate to hear talk like that. It's good. If it's good, it's too good not to share. That's the way I feel about my work. So I'll keep on communicating, but only my own way. Lots of things I won't do. I won't go on television because who am I talking to? Johnny Carson, the camera, 20 million people I can't see? And I won't give any more interviews. So he had I don't know. I just think he was a really pure little creative dude. I still get the feeling that he's kind of a grump, though.
Is it because of his mugshot portraits?
I think it's his pictures. Every picture he has, I'm like, oh, God. And the more you dig into his personal life, you find out that he slept with hundreds, possibly thousands of women.
Frequent visitor noted. Of Playboy Mansion.
Yes. Gross. But he also had a really tragic life. He met his first wife at the Playboy Mansion. She died when their one daughter was turning 5, and then the daughter died 10 years later, less than that, 8 years later, of a brain aneurysm. It's just a lot of, or a cerebral aneurysm.
Super sad.
It's just really sad. And yeah, so
and that daughter,
A Light in the Attic. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Oh yeah. A Light in the Attic is dedicated to that daughter.
Yeah. Kind of sweet. So he's a multifaceted human being.
Yeah.
But his mugshots are definitely very confusing for me.
They are.
The choices of photography.
I wanted his marketing site, and they have a bunch of photographs on his biography page. And some of them, I don't know if it's because it was cropped weird and you're supposed to click on it and it's supposed to expand, but they were just framed of just his toes. Or
oh, I hate that. Why are they doing that?
But anyway, yeah, his most famous mugshot looking one is on on the back of the Giving Tree, the copy that I have at home.
Yeah.
And my daughter loves to read books in bed before she falls asleep, and that one I'm scared to put in her bed because what if she wakes up in the middle of the night and Shel's just staring at her with that kind of creepy smile
with that very somber, he's got a very furrowed brow in all of his images.
And a not really a smile.
Yeah Oh my gosh. Do you have any memories of reading A Light in the Attic as a kid?
I have a lot of memories of... I don't have specific memories of reading. I just remember the covers very well. The cover for A Light in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and Falling Up. I remember looking at those a lot. I actually remember, I think in elementary school or middle school, there was a rumor that Shel Silverstein was, wrote these poems in jail. But as I was doing research for this, I was reading through everything. It's I don't think he was ever incarcerated. I don't know where that rumor started from. It could be from the same vein of Steve from Blue's Clues is a child molester, or Barney Smokes. Yeah. Some kid probably saw that mugshot on the back of the Giving Tree and was oh, that guy's been to prison.
It was me. I started that rumor. I saw that picture and I was like, he's rough. I can't do it. And I told everybody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I bet you're right, though. I really bet you're right. I think he kind of reminds me of Roald Dahl in that his poems can kind of be dark, but they're also really kooky. It's got a lot of animals in them. And but the stories are just very fun. A lot of the time as a kid I was I don't know what that means, but it's funny. It's a funny image. And I think he I feel my brothers loved Shel Silverstein so much. My oldest brother had all of his books, so that was a cute thing for me as a kid.
That is cute.
And and the day I found out that A Boy Named Sue was written by him, I was what? My whole world just expanded. Yeah. I don't know. What like facts did you learn that you were like shocked by, Eden?
Oh, just mainly the Playboy Mansion stuff.
Yeah, I hate how many people have been in and out of that place.
It is nasty.
It really freaks me out. Ugh, it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
It's such a shame.
That was also interesting was that his daughter Shoshana, after his wife died, she moved in with her aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't live with Shel. So that's fascinating. Like I wonder why. I want to know the goss.
Yeah.
If he just couldn't take care of her, or if he just didn't want to, or if it was just a better situation. Like I don't know. But I'm curious.
It definitely feels like a unplanned situation if they met at the Playboy Mansion. Yeah.
But they did get married, though.
They did get married?
Absent father. I thought he married her. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I was just making stuff up. I could have been.
Maybe
Shel
he was super
Silverstein.
Involved from the road.
Susan.
I know he
loves
wrote
being an involved father.
He I don't know what the timeline is, but he did draw a lot of cartoons for the Playboy magazine.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so
he did marry Susan Taylor.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he was like on the road a lot for his work. He did like a series kind of like Shel Silverstein explores the world. I don't know.
You could be right. You really could be right. And also it could just be that like in the 70s it wasn't gauche for a single father who lived his life to be like, maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe they justified it by being like, he just can't take care of his daughter, like it'd be better for her to be there and him send money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could see them as in Hugh Hefner and his pals.
Ugh.
This is a little bit of a deviation, but did you see that Hugh Hefner's son has a OnlyFans and he's like really mad at his family because they're like mad at him for participating in sex work, and he's like, that's so hypocritical. And but yeah, there's like a whole there's like all this drama about Hugh Hefner and his family and his OnlyFans. You should dig in.
Wait, Hugh Hefner's OnlyFans, or
Hugh Hefner's son's OnlyFans.
Okay.
Hugh Hefner is dead, but that'd be wild.
That'd be so wild.
That'd be wild.
I did go down a Playboy rabbit hole as I was researching this, but
Really?
well, yeah, because one of Hugh Hefner's sons is only a year older than us, and he was the one who overtook. Is that the son with the OnlyFans?
I don't know.
Probably not, because he
something?
actually left, like running the company in order to rejoin the army or the Navy or something, Air Force.
Yeah, I don't know. The
I don't
Hefner
know.
family situation. If you want to go down a real rabbit hole, watch the Hulu like Secrets of the Playboy Mansion series.
I don't know if I want to.
It is so heavy.
Yeah, no thank you. No thank you.
Back to our
Shel.
friend Shel. What an interesting first name also. Just throwing that out there.
Sheldon.
Sheldon. But like that you choose to go by Shel, you know?
Yeah. Marcel the Shell.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Marcel the Sheldon.
Marcel the Sheldon.
Marsheldon
Shoes
the
on.
Sheldon.
Honestly, Marcel the Shel, it has very strong Shel Silverstein energy, to be quite honest.
Yeah. But yeah, A Light in the Attic. There
let's talk
are
about it.
135 poems in this book. You can actually hear a recording on Spotify of Shel reading this. And it's actually,
so cute.
the microphone that he uses just records every click and pop of his mouth. And he does like really, really, really silly voices. Some of them were,
cute.
it's pretty cute. It's really cute, like listening to Shel bring his own poems to life. So that was pretty fun. I would recommend that.
Which poem is your favorite in that book?
The one that I laughed out loud in was Little Abigail and the Beautiful Pony, where like she wanted a pony so bad, but her parents refused to get it for her. At the end, she was just like begging for it until she died, and then her parents regretted not getting her the pony. It reminded me of A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Where he comes in and he's like, he's blind. He's like, oh no, what happened to you? He's like, it was soap. poisoning after getting his mouth washed out. It's like, I feel like there are a lot of moments as dramatic little kids where we're like, then I'll die, and then they'll be sorry. Like,
and then they'll feel bad about it. Totally. I mean, that's why we all ran away like multiple times, like ran away in quotations as kids. It's like, then they'll be sorry. Then they'll regret it. Gosh, that's so cute. That kills me.
Yeah. How about you?
The whole thing is really great. I honestly do like A Light in the Attic the best, though, because it is a little guy that I can think about all the time. And also, it brings me back to being a kid and being just curious about what's happening in other people's homes. I feel like I've lost that whimsy, and also recognizing that, like, there's something going on in those homes. They're looking at you and they're curious too. And I think, like, that's, I don't know. I just think I want to live my life a lot more like that. Peeping in people's homes. No, but just a lot more curious about the things that are around me, because I don't think I do that anymore.
Yeah.
But that was such a huge hallmark of being a kid.
Yeah.
It was very romanticizing other people's lights on in their houses. And I think that's like kind of what this whole book is about, is just being romantic about and silly about everyday things that just don't matter.
Yeah.
And like being a kid again. Yeah. I guess that is what Shel Silverstein kind of gives us throughout the whole thing. And we see that in his music also. There's not really a big point to it other than just like whimsy. So I guess you're right. I guess my whole opinion is wrong. I said it earlier.
Well, yeah, even with
just don't match.
Yeah. Even with like A Boy Named Sue, like that's such a silly song in itself. And Shel Silverstein has a recording of him singing it as well.
Really?
And it's just like him fading off, like, my dad could have named me Bill or Walter, and just like fades out.
It's like perfect children's rage
about
stuff. And it's also like, that's fair. That's a fair issue. Oh my gosh. Because we're kind of talking about Shel Silverstein a lot, I'd also like to bring up that, like, he does, like, The Giving Tree is a book that has a clear moral in it, but has also been, like, really, really talked about in that it's actually not a very healthy, it's, like, a very capitalistic moral, and I don't think Shel meant it that way, but it's kind of turned out that way.
Yeah.
In that it's, like, it's good to just take from the earth as much as you can, because it's there for you. Whereas, like, I think he wrote it from the perspective of, like, the tree is so loving and kind. But so that's like kind of interesting, like how his work has kind of changed over time, but I don't really feel like his poems have, but I do feel like The Giving Tree has.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of his work, I don't really feel like, I feel like it's just kind of stayed the same, because there wasn't anything he was really saying. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Like The Giving Tree, the Giving Tree, I think it has more for people to dissect.
Yeah. Because there's clear intention with how that was written. And I think there's intention with all of his poems, but I think the intention was to write something silly or to be childlike in his perspective. I don't think his intention was to teach us a thing about, like, virtues.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So what makes it a good poem then, is my next question. I don't know. Like, why are his poems so good? Because there's other people that write crazy poems.
That's true.
But why is Shel so delightful to us?
That is a good question.
Is it just because his books were written and published in the era that our parents, like, the boomers were graduating high school and going to college and stuff, so it was like that era of them buying books for their kids or for their future families, you know? Like, I wonder if that, or if because he was so ingrained in pop culture, that's why he's been able, like with Dr. Hook and the medicine show, is that how he's been able to, like, you know, stay such a fabric of American pop culture? Because, like, yeah, I've thought about other poets who've done similar things, and they haven't hit the same. Like, I'm curious why he's lasted versus others that aren't, like, these deep, powerful works.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of other, like, off the top of my mind, someone who, like, genuinely made stuff for kids. Like, I can't name another poet who did these kind of poems for kids. Can you? You said that
all I can think of is Dr. Seuss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna find you a list of other poets.
Because the other person I can think of, I don't know if he's a contemporary. Let me look him up. Is Rafi?
Yeah, I think he's a contemporary. He's had the strong, I don't think he's held on to us the way that Shel has. Yeah.
Yeah, even with Rafi, like that one, I only Greg brought Rafi into our family.
Yeah.
Through his upbringing. But like even for me, having immigrant parents, reading Shel Silverstein came from my elementary school library.
Yeah, me too. It was always in schools. I was about to say that. It's always in a classroom.
Yeah, I remember.
Or the posters of the covers were in a lot of classrooms. Middle school. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the simplicity of his drawings also stimulates imagination as well.
Yeah, I think
where
you're
you
right.
look at it,
it's the combo.
Because the falling up cover and where the sidewalk ends, it's just such. He just draws such a little segment of it, and the rest of the page is white. And so that you can fill in the blanks yourself as a kid. You're what else could be there or something. I could imagine if I got that book for my daughter, she would just be up at night looking at the pictures and being imagining what else. Oh, that's weird. This head has a house on its head.
Yeah. These pictures are so wild. That is true. That's a really good point. And he says a lot that as a kid, he wished he could have gotten all the girls and he wished he could have been good at baseball, but he wasn't. He was just, all he knew how to do was draw. So that's all he spent his time doing was drawing and writing song lyrics, which then eventually became his poems. So drawing is an integral part of his creative process, which is pretty cute. Pretty cute stuff, honestly.
And comparing,
I love him.
Comparing these drawings to Dr. Seuss, which are so full of color, so full of imaginative creatures, it doesn't give, there's not much left to the imagination, It's just I see an elephant with a cute little tiny mayor.
Totally. That's so true. Gosh, well, 10 out of 10 for Shel Silverstein.
10 out of 10.
I don't know how much more we should talk about him. I think we basically covered the depth of our good friend Sheldon. I don't know. What else is there? What else is there, Eden?
I think that's it.
Oh my gosh. Hot dog. Should we end this?
We should. I think I just found a picture of Shel with long hair.
Oh my gosh, send it. Send it to me right now.
I will send it to you right now.
Gosh, what a unique look he has.
He does.
I found his photos on his website. Ew, the one with his feet.
Yeah.
Why is it weirdly seductive?
Is
Very
that
sexy?
Is that him with his hair?
I think he's trying to be seductive. Wait, I'm gonna see. Oh my gosh, why is he looking over his shoulder in that big... I don't know, but I'm attracted to this guy. If it's Shel, sign me up. I don't think it is.
So why do you think he has been banned or challenged? Or specifically this book?
Because I think his writing encourages kids to be disobedient to their parents.
I have that same thought too.
That's my thought. And I think there's some witchcraft in some of the poems. If
I
remember
is there?
Correctly. Isn't there a poem about a witch? Is that in this one, or is that... There's one about a cauldron, and it might not be in A Light in the Attic.
Oh, maybe. Okay, let's look this up.
Okay.
Attempts have been made to ban this book from some libraries in the United States. Parents claiming that the poem How Not to Have to Dry the Dishes encourages messiness and disobedience.
Yeah. I'm so good at this.
Yeah, you are very good at this. Yeah, that poem... It says how to get out of drying dishes. Basically, you just drop the dishes and you break them, and then you won't be asked to dry the dishes again. Which is pretty funny. And then also the poem Little Abigail and the Beautiful Pony resulted in criticism for describing the death of a little girl. whose parents refused to buy her a pony.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
But pretty fun.
But I think it kind of, it plays with, it's like not giving kids credit with being silly.
No.
Kids know how to be silly. Kids know, if you have the right consequences in place with your children, right? If you drop a dish, you're going to have to clean that up. Yeah. Carefully. I'll be watching so you don't cut yourself. But
yeah.
And we were talking about that resentment that kids have with their families, with their parents. They'll wish they never did that to me.
Yeah.
It was soap poisoning.
Oh, it's so cute and so wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, yeah, I just feel like letting kids be kids is a thing that there's a limit to it, of course, but I don't know what I'm saying. I don't have kids. I don't even think I can talk on that, but I think that the poems were fun, and I think if your kid is interested in poetry, this is a great place to start it and to get them writing their own poems. Also, the Shel Silverstein website even offers lots of activities that go with each book that you can download for free.
That's so cute.
There's a lot of kits that you can download for free to help your kid compile their own poetry portfolio. And there's a lot of little word activities and games. And so they really do work hard, the Shel Silverstein estate, in making this accessible and making sure that kids can benefit from this. So yeah, I just think if your kid is interested in poetry, this is a great place. Or just put this book in the bathroom. Your kid can practice going to the bathroom and reading some poetry.
Exactly.
Taking their time. Yeah. Honestly.
Awesome. Honestly.
So cute. But it's so cute. I can't wait for your daughter to start getting really sassy about stuff I'm gonna die if you don't give me that Pokemon. That's my dream.
Well, we've made everything a game with her, so I think she's gonna grow up with some whimsy. In order to get her to brush her teeth, I'm a monster who wants to eat teeth with bugs on them, and that's the only way she'll brush her teeth.
Oh, that's so cute. And of course she's going to grow up with whimsy. I mean, she's being raised by you and Greg, so obviously. True. There's no question.
True. No question about it.
Okay, I'm going to end my little thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please follow us on Instagram and interact with us. And because I need friends. I'd love if you guys wanted to do a book club and actually read with us. That'd be so fun.
Oh, that'd be super cool.
Just, message us on Instagram, get involved, and if you know a librarian or a library or even an English teacher that could use a spotlight, let us know. We love that kind of stuff. We just want to support all of you guys in your reading your books.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
This book is produced by us, Nicole O'Corin and Eden Wen.
Music written by me, Nicole O'Corin, and produced and performed by my dad, Frank.